So the market value of asset that's used, that firm already has, is an opportunity cost. Since firm can get value out of such assets, the market value of such assets are relevant. Let's get that ugly dark teal. All right. When a firm does a new project, a new product, improving an existing product, or updating an existing product, a lot of times something happens. I mean, Apple has come up with iPhone 15, right? Probably they're gonna sell a lot of those. When Apple starts selling iPhone 15, what else happens at Apple? Okay, some of the executives will get rich, but that's not our problem. What else happens? Is it going to affect something else in the firm? When you start selling iPhone 15, what's going to happen to the sales of iPhone 14? It's going to go down, right? So let's say they're going to sell $10 billion worth of 15s. If the iPhone 14 sales go down by $3 billion, the net benefit to the firm is $7 billion, not 10. You shouldn't ever evaluate a project based on its own sales. Because the very fact that the project is accepted affects the firm in other ways. So we're going to worry about side effects. I mean, if they're negative, these are typically cannibalism. You know, Gillette is the master of this. And if they're positive, that would be cross-selling opportunities. There's a kind of, and these are of course relevant, because we look at incremental cash flows. Incremental in the sense that what is the change in the firm as a result of accepting the project? As a kind of rule of thumb, anytime somebody comes to you with a project that has positive side effects, take that with a grain of salt. Ask them to really justify it. And if they don't show any negative side effects, question that as well. Because it's very rare that a new project has no side effects. And positive side effects, a lot of times, are wishful thinking of the project planners. I'm not talking about fraud. You know, when you develop a new product, you actually think, oh, I love this product so much, I really believe that it's going to improve the sales of our existing products, or something else is going to happen. And those people definitely believe it, but that doesn't mean they're right. I'll give you an example. Years ago, about I think 5 years ago, our previous dean by himself told the university president that we're going to have an online accounting program, okay? Without even talking to us. As soon as this came, we were aware of that. I went to him and said, you know that you're going to lose money. He says, how? I already have this many online students in the accounting online program. I said, did you look at how many students less you have in the face-to-face accounting program? Plus, face-to-face and online, they have to be taught in separate avenues. That means you have almost double the faculty cost. And the accounting faculty is pretty much the costliest faculty. It probably EKU, definitely School of Business. They make even more than us. But they don't see it that way. They don't think that way. And I actually made a calculation and sent it to the provost, and I said, we had some additional students in total, but additional students, the revenue from the additional students covered less than half of the additional cost of faculty. So we lost money. But people don't do the accounting the real way, they don't see it. Again, years ago, when Bevin was the governor, he did a lot of budget cuts. And 1 year, that was a real big budget cuts. University decided to close the theater program. And they actually showed us as, we're gonna save $750,000 a year. Of course, I was in the faculty senate those days. I mean, I love making the fool out of fools. I basically systematically showed them that the university is actually losing money by closing that program. Because what they didn't think is, what's going to happen to those students? They automatically assume that, oh, they're going to switch to, I don't know, psychology, English. Turns out we did a survey. I mean, the head of the theater program was a close friend of mine. I basically said, here's a survey. I did a Google form survey, sent it to her, and she sent it to all theater majors. 97% said they're going to go to a different school. And that's what they did. We asked them, even if for the existing ones, even if they allow you to complete your program, would you stay? Half said no. I mean, that may have been a specialized case. Theater is a special major. Trust me, people don't become theater majors willy-nilly. They actually have a love for the thing. If we suddenly close the finance major, God forbid, in nomine Patria, Filii, Spiritus Sancti. I'm not religious, not even a Christian anyway. I like saying things in Latin. What would happen to all the finance majors? More than likely they'll become accounting majors, right? Similarly, if we close the accounting majors because we thought, oh, these accounting pukes are making too much money, how about we close them? All accounting majors would end up being finance majors. So you wouldn't actually lose much money. But you need to think about these things. In many investment projects, you always have side effects. Anybody who says there are no side effects or they're mostly positive, they're either lying or they do not breathe the same oxygen that you and I do. I actually used what was his name? You guys may be too young for it. There was a congressman from Massachusetts, the first openly gay congressman in Congress, Barney Franks. One day somebody made a presentation in the House, and he rose up and says, gentleman from wherever, he says, on what planet do you spend majority of your time? So write that somewhere. Of course, being tenured makes it easy to say these things. Now, we're going to look at depreciation. As you know, depreciation is a non-cash expense. Do you think it should be relevant or not? Remember, we're finance people. We only care about cash. This is about cash flows anyway. By the way, cash doesn't necessarily mean actual cash. If you sell something on credit, even though it's not cash, it is like cash. Do you think depreciation expenditures should be relevant in a project? In order to do the new product, you're going to invest some money into equipment, maybe buildings, and legally you can write off some depreciation. So do you think that should be relevant? It's a non-cash expense. Nothing actually comes out of your pocket. You're going to use the cost of those machinery anyway as a cost. So don't you think we should ignore depreciation? Good, at least you didn't jump just because I asked it that way. That's one of the reasons I stopped teaching MBA finance class. When I asked that question, almost unison, if I ask it like that, they said, yeah, we should ignore it. And I was basically finding places soft enough to hit my head. I used to, just to embarrass them, I used to give the final exam for this class to the MBA finance class. My undergraduates did better. That's normal. A lot of our MBA students, they don't have business degrees, and they already work somewhere. They come here with the expectation that they're entitled to an A. The only reason half of the class didn't fail, I didn't want to kill the MBA program. And at the first opportunity, I stopped teaching the MBA classes. Because you have to be graduate faculty, and that has a certain lifetime on it. Once that expired, I didn't apply to renew it, and you actually have to apply to be graduate faculty. And they cannot make you apply. Because I lost, a lot. I probably lost a year of my life because of the anger that I had. You're graduate students, I shouldn't have to spoon feed you. So what do you think? Should depreciation be relevant?
Yes.
Why? I'm going to ask that.
Because it is affected with the project and the cash flow and then.
Depreciation is a non-cash expense. It doesn't affect the cash. But does it affect the firm's cash?